It's better.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, you missed the best 5
right.
minutes of the show right there.
Yes, Mom, they are. My values are the exact same.
I don't think mine are. Because I feel like you can sit in a room somewhere and learn a bunch of information, but there's only so much stuff that someone could say during, you know, one of those breakout sessions or something when you're at like a lunch and learn or you're at.
Of course, our good friends at Steph's Bookkeeping, great ribbon.
Getting distracted and just tell your story.
And we sent them flying. Go ahead, you lead.
Okay. Well, welcome in. Clearly Joe has had an adventure of a Friday. So today we're going to be talking self-improvement. So
Whoa.
What?
It was not an adventure.
I don't know. You came in pretty hot. You bumped my butt, like
I'm not
with
bump your butt
of my car.
No.
Yeah, that was the butt of my car that your car hit. They were butt buddies. Your car and my car.
Thank you for clarifying.
So
to my wife, I did not touch her butt.
I didn't say you touched my butt.
You said I bumped your butt.
Oh, well, the car butt.
To Rich, I did not touch her butt.
Okay. So self-improvement. I know. So self-improvement. Okay. So when this topic came up and you threw it in the mix of our show topics and our lineup, it made me wonder, as an entrepreneur, does your self-improvement items, do you have them separate from the things that you do as Joe the individual or as Joe the owner of Restoration One? Or is there constantly a blurred line once you become to a certain level of career? Like once you come out of being an entry level employee and you become into like management to ownership, is there a blurred line then between self-improvement?
Okay. In my mind, everybody should have self-improvement first and foremost. You shouldn't go out into the world straight out of high school, junior high, college, whatever it is, and think I'm the best. There's always improvement.
Right. So how do you determine when you need said improvement? Like, are you constantly just working on all aspects all at once and trying to juggle like 57 different balls of improvement? Or do you take like a failed or do you take like a failed opportunity or a failed something and then that's where you hyper focus your next level of improvement?
Both. So yes, there is in my mind, there is a God. Let's not solve this show in the first 3 minutes.
I feel like there's going to be some long-winded stories about to come out the more questions I ask. So
could be. Could be. But no, for me, I will always take a loss or a hit or a whatever and look back on it 100%, right? Like hindsight is always 2020, right? And I gotta look this way. So you're back here. But hindsight is always 2020. So to me, I could always dig into that, but I also want to know up front, not hindsight,
Hi, Mom.
What I'm talking to or what I'm doing, right? We can all dig into what was in the past. And that's such a huge thing. But
so do you think self-improvement needs, like if you did a percentage ratio, what percentage of it needs to be proactive versus reactive?
I want to ask the audience,
i.e.
i.e. you.
What? Okay. I think if you truly want self-improvement and that's a motivating factor for you, I feel like you need to be probably an 80-20 split on it, where you're proactive 80% of the time on your own personal goals, targets, planning, whether it's you as an individual or you as a business owner or you as a parent or you as a spouse or all the different hats and things that we wear. Like, you need to be proactive, because I feel like if you're reactive a majority of the time, it's just, you're just setting yourself up for constant like shit in the face.
Okay. Pause.
Okay.
Steve.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Behind the camera.
How you guys doing? I'm
Great,
doing fantastic.
Great. That deep voice behind the camera.
Happy to be
Now,
here.
Steve, where are you at? Proactive, reactive?
So it's very interesting, and I have
No,
to lean more towards Steph. I have to lean more towards Steph's answer. You're gonna grow regardless, one way or the other. If you proactively do it, at least it's in the right direction.
I
the
want to know
directions that
where
you want.
you're at right now.
Oh, where I'm at in my life?
Yeah.
Or not my just stance in general?
Nope. Yeah.
That's like a whole therapy session of a question.
But you just said it.
What? Well, you asked me, like, my question was like, what's your percentage? Like, what's your ratio and how you operate? So I said 80-20, and Steve's saying that he's more in line with the 80-20. So what is your,
Well, where are you at actually?
what with my growth? I don't know. I have a very biased opinion of myself. So like, I might think I'm fucking killing it and I'm doing all of the things. But then if you ask somebody in the general public, they'd be like, no, she's on the Hot Mess Express and she doesn't know how to get off. But I think I'm on the fast track to like my next big move.
Super society.
So it's just,
Okay.
You can't ask somebody that because they have such a biased opinion of themselves.
So that's kind of where I'm getting at, is first point of self-improvement is
ego? What? I
mean, an ego check of some sort.
What's that catchphrase that everybody talks about on Facebook? Was it "Catch Me Outside"? Right?
Talk to it.
Yeah. Now, I feel like everybody has like their own opinion. I feel like your friends and family and people, like your close inner circle of people's opinions that you truly care about and value, that's going to be your reality check and your ego check on if you're moving in the right direction.
Great point. So that's actually to my point is, what if you don't call on those people, you don't ask those people, you don't check on those people? Somebody asks you, where you at? And you go, oh, I'm here, I'm good, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same point, are you really that good? Do you really have that I don't know, that checkpoint, that I don't know what you want to call it, but like,
how would you identify that if you did?
Exactly, right? Like, so like to me is like, I'm asking y'all, where are you at? What are you doing? And you say, well, I'm here. But how do you know you're there? Who's telling you you're there? How do you know that the steak you just cooked is really good? Because everybody may tell you, oh, this is phenomenal. But
I mean, like,
looking back, they all go, oh, shit, remember that day, right? A year or two later, remember that day when Homeboy cooked that steak and it was fucking leather.
Yeah. Are you referring to like when Rich and I had our first date and he told me about my cooking? He told me my cooking was good. And then like he still talks about it 16 years later, how bad that meal was.
So
were you and Rich talking recently?
This is not something. This is a complete random point that I brought up. I just want to point that out to all our viewers and listeners.
But so I don't know. I feel like I feel like everybody has that person in their life that if they need a real like if they're on a journey of something, they have that person in their life that's going to give them the real answer. If you're afraid to ask that person their opinion about said situation or thing in your life, you know you're fucking up already. You already know.
Okay, so reality check human. Right?
Yeah, like everybody has that person in their life. There's not one person that doesn't have that.
You get that person, right? Can you hear me?
I can.
I know. Because my reality check human tells me I'm loud all the time. Right?
No? Okay.
My reality check human
So what are you
says,
okay, so then what are you doing, Joe, to improve so you're not loud all the time? Or is that something that
improve on my loudness?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So
Absolutely
what's something that you as Joe the individual are trying to improve upon right now? Not Joe the dad or Joe the spouse or Joe the business owner. What's something that you're trying to do as an individual? Because for me, like,
I want to catch more fish.
Like, okay. So
I know that's not the right answer.
Well, there's no wrong answers in this show.
A lot of people would probably tell you that's the wrong answer.
Do you mean you want to go fishing more or you want to be better at fishing? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
But I'm just saying, I feel like when you're talking about self-improvement and you're talking about life journeys or whatever, I feel like there's no wrong answers because it's you. Like you are staying true to you. Like you as Joe the individual want to develop a better system of fishing.
Okay, time out though. I can challenge that because I could tell you that some people will look at that and go, no, what you're doing is not societal improvement. You're not improving yourself as a human being in society.
Why? If you catch more fish, then more people will eat. So that's a societal improvement.
I will eat more fish. I'm not sharing.
Well,
I didn't say
you can't be that person, Joe.
See, fuck off. So that's what I'm saying, though, is like, as a human that's contributing to society, somebody might say,
I feel like that's different. General Pop is different.
Joe, you should. Gen Pop. Don't refer to it as Gen Pop.
I'm just saying that, like, you as the contributor to whatever the society or the neighborhood is a different thing than you. There's like so many spider webs of a thing where each individual component, like you are basically now 57 people
self-improvement
that would have to be doing all of these different things.
Let's go self-improvement. If I were to improve myself, I could learn so much more, right? How much more could I learn? I don't know. Depends on my IQ. But like after that, where am I going? All I'm trying to do is improve myself. So should I really?
Yeah, but if you're a better version of yourself, you're a better example to your girls.
Therefore, I'm not self-improving. I'm improving outside of myself.
No, you're not. If you improve yourself and your efficiencies or your person, then the next generation that you're bringing into this world would be better for it in theory.
Well, they don't.
Like if you learned how to fish better and you taught your daughters how to fish better, then
because of my so
it's a generational thing.
My self-improvement does not.
It might not in line with them. Like your girls might not give a shit about fishing.
There you go. They're in
which is possible because there's things that like my parents do that I don't have a vested interest in. There's things that I do that my kids don't have a vested interest in. but I could still be better at it, because I feel like when you're succeeding and you're improving and you're becoming better, either you're better yourself or better in a said task, you're a happier, more enjoyable person to be around. Because when you're failing,
Great.
you're a crappy person to be around.
So,
Right, Steve?
There's merit to causation.
We're just going to keep him on his
Steve's
toes
just gonna
today.
agree with everything we say right now. Now, to me, I would say, great. If you're happy and go lucky and you're successful, wonderful.
It doesn't mean you're okay. In the last 45 days, I've discovered a lot of blind spots in myself personally and myself professionally. So
you're 5'2".
I'm not even 5'2". I'm 5'1", Joe. Okay, let's not get
Okay.
crazy.
I was conservative. I'm just giving you the benefit of the doubt. But like anything over 6 foot is a blind spot.
I'm just saying, there's
That's
just
going in the next intro.
there's just been things that have been brought to light where there was just, I would call blind spots or room for improvement. And the fact that I could acknowledge those and then be like, okay, like let's do these things so said things don't happen again. So now in the last 45 days, I've been on the more reactive side of things versus proactive, which is not a pleasant feeling, in my opinion.
So you're following up on people coming up on your blind side from the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does Kent say?
Kent says
Improvement over perfection.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did that one for you, buddy.
Great voice.
Very careful. If you keep talking, the table's going to be lopsided soon.
Taking the leg out, or what are you doing here? I have to say that if I'm gonna talk about self-improvement, I always okay.
What?
We talk about it. We've probably mentioned it before, but like Carrie and a few people in the company, they talk about almost perfect. And so in our company, we talk about people that are almost perfect, right? You were almost perfect. As in, you were doing so great, but you missed this one thing. You were almost perfect. And it's kind of a joke, kind of a thing, kind of a whatever. But what I can say is, everybody kind of like tries for that perfectness, right?
I don't.
Really?
No. I know I'm not going to be perfect. I've accepted that a long time ago.
Me as well. I thrive on mediocrity.
Like no. Like there is nothing out there that I will do perfectly.
Love that, Steve.
Like it's just
really?
not going to happen. Like there's always something where there's a slight hiccup, a slight misstep, something new. There's an innovative thing that brings up like then now you got to learn this new thing. Like it's never going to be perfect.
That's what the point is like everything we go towards is almost perfect, right? Almost perfect. So, hey, yo, everything was great. Almost perfect. Right? As in self-improvement is that never-ending goal. I don't ever want to be done going, I'm perfect. I'm done. I'm good. I'm perfect. Right? There's always something I can improve on.
So do you think your self-improvement journey is based upon your hunger? Like how hungry you are for knowledge or or something or whatever
Yeah,
said thing is.
whatever.
Or
Yep.
because I feel like some people would probably peak out at,
Hey, I'm
high
good,
school
I'm
and
good,
they're
I'm
about
good.
the same. Like, it's just interesting, like when,
Let's ride the couch forever, bruh.
like, I mean, I'll be 40 this year. So it's like interesting to see some people.
Fuck, wait, you're
Huh.
shorter and younger?
Yeah. But so it's just interesting for me to see people that I went to high school with and run into them, and they're basically in the exact same spot that they were, 20 years ago when we graduated, 22 years ago when we graduated high school.
Okay.
And it's interesting. I'm not saying that those people are failing, because some of those people, like, they love their life, they're happy in it. So I feel like the self-improvement is what? I don't have ear hair.
Kent has ear hair.
Oh.
Ear hair?
That means you're 40 is ear
Okay.
hair.
Okay. Wait.
Oh,
Joe,
ear.
how's your ear hair situation?
Hang on. Are we talking ear hair? Wait, I can't see.
Yeah, we're talking about ear hair.
But yeah, I feel like I feel like your self-improvement drive is going to be different to somebody else's self-improvement drive, whether it's a friend, a family member, or an acquaintance. And you have to work on not being a judgy person in their self-improvement journey, because it's such an individual experience.
So true. Unto which I really pay attention to and ask questions as far as, like, where are you from? What did you do when you grew up? Right? Like, how are you doing this? What did your parents provide you? And not so much that, but like, I'm trying to dig into where they came from, because
because like Rich always has a good example of where he works. Like, they have people that come in and they're considered helpers. So they are the assistant on the truck. Then you have like route leaders, then you have repair technicians, then you have, people that do open closed service repairs, like all these different things. But some people like come in and will be 20 plus years in the industry at the level of a helper, and that's where they want to stay. And you need some of those people at your company so you don't have that continuous churn of everybody wanting to climb the ladder, because at a point you can't have, a $40 truck riding out per hour versus like a $30 truck per hour.
So,
like, you have to look at your margins and stuff.
One of our employees that does he did the day-to-day work in the beginning, and we loved him, and we really wanted him to and pushed him to be ahead of the curve and really go and get more education and be more ahead of the staff and all this stuff, because he had years of experience in our crew.
Almost. I have a team that's still working, so I have to be available.
So this dude decided that he didn't want to be as high up in the staff as he could be. So what we said to him was, hey, what if you come and work in the shop? So now he runs the entire shop. While his knowledge is extensive, he really, to your point, only wants to do the shop stuff. Now, he expands his knowledge on machinery, equipment, things of that nature. But how am I going to stop him from going down that route, right? Are you still?
I'm listening. Keep talking. We're on the radio.
I understand that.
So to clarify the problem, you're thinking he's going to just stay in that level forever?
I thought he was going to come up in the ranks and actually become like a big lead tech or something like that,
right,
and actually do jobs on the scene, right? But now here he is. He's running our entire shop and breaking down dehumidifiers, air movers, things like that, and actually taking them apart and mechanically making them work again after we thought they were a write-off, right?
Yeah.
And totally gone. So I think that understanding what they want, what people want to do, really makes the most sense for if you think self-improvement is important, where do you want to self-improve, right? To your point.
Yeah. So do you think a lot of once you became a business owner, do you think a lot of your self-improvement is tied into the business versus Joe, the individual? Like, are a lot of, was there like a big shift?
No, that's a tied question because Joe, the individual, needs a lot of self-improvement, but the business individual, we always need improvement, and I will be first and foremost into the camera. Joe. Yeah, get out of there, Steve. I'm looking at the camera. I always will say we always need the most improvement, right? But that being said, after that, what do you want to improve on? Where do you want to go? As a business individual, yeah, we can always learn new things. We can always improve on new things.
Right.
If I could improve on so much, yeah, that'd be awesome. But I can't improve on how many people I can touch, right? I can only touch what was the book? Carrie, my wife, what was the book? It was Extreme Ownership.
Rich read that book. Yeah.
Extreme Ownership. They said you can only manage 6 people at a time. So to all those people out there for self-improvement, here is a true statement. I have tried to manage multiple people out there, right? But you can't do that. You really need to establish layers and get people to start to work and do the work you need done, right? So 6 people is what they say, 5 or 6 I think is what the book says. But if you were to truly do that, there's 5 or 6 people that I can call on. They answered up, there's other people that answer them. That's the idea. Is I've come to understand that if I talk to 20 people, I'm too stretched. So my self-improvement was to draw back from that and understand what I have to do.
What, in a more condensed, specific way?
In understanding that I can't
help everyone.
I can't
knowing your own limitations.
Oh, you can't be the Yoda to everyone.
Ding-a-ling.
Yeah, knowing your own limitations, because you're not just business Joe. You are father Joe, your husband Joe. You have all these other things that you do throughout the day. So you only have so much room. And if you spread yourself completely thin at work, you're no good at home. And
so I have a great wife at home that
Carrie,
that takes care of those things as well. And when we started the business and we ran down this route, she would take care of all that. We have now started to shift to where she's taking care of some of those humans, right? That I would have taken care of, and now I can take care of.
So just out of curiosity, your own equation, how many are you managing actively?
I mean, I would say I'm managing 1, 2. I would say, Probably about 4 at tops.
Okay.
4 to 5.
So you're meeting your own. You
Yeah,
scaled
I
it back,
mean,
and now you're within your own
I'm
equation.
Definitely 2. Then if you want to count my children, 4.
Oh, this is just people all day.
This is management, baby.
Okay.
Management. I mean, self-improvement. If you're taking care of your kids,
Yeah.
that's a key to the cog, right? Like that's not self. Oh God, what do
So,
you
like-
think? What do you think of that? Like, tell me, is your kid count as one of your cogs to the wheel that you're trying to improve,
I think.
or you're trying to? Now I'm going off the 6th, right now.
So wait, are you trying to manage and help other people in their self-improvement journey, or are you talking about your own self-improvement journey? Because I feel like those are 2 different things. Like for me, like I know I need to work on better time blocking. And I need to improve upon that. And then if I improve upon that, it will spread out into stuff like some of the problem areas that I have in the business. And it will also, sometimes my kids get super annoyed if they see my laptop open after a certain hour of the evening.
Gavin,
It gets
Gavin,
it gets threatened to be thrown in the toilet.
I want to see
So-
Gavin roll on the ground like in a fit.
So, but I'm
Let's
just
see
saying,
Gavin do.
like my kids have made it like abundantly clear to me that I need to improve upon not opening my laptop after a certain time in the evening. Like that
Okay.
is their time and not anybody else's time.
So
That's
to
something that
me-
I have to work on internally and get rid of like my anxiousness and not turn my laptop on.
Well, and I think any business owner can relate to the struggle of also trying to balance that work home time. And then, of course, you own your own business and you care about it, so you want to be on that laptop as much as possible. But and then your kids are drawing that line. But I think, finding that balance with your schedule is one of those things that you just constantly work on every day until you die.
Yeah, because I mean, like that was something that was brought to my attention by my support team. That I am
Well, I
going
have a
over that.
question about that.
Like personally, I didn't think it was a problem, but I guess
Well,
according to my sounding board, it was a problem.
I have a point to that.
Mm.
If you don't feel it's a problem to answer an email or pull up your computer or do whatever, what is the problem?
That I'm taking away from their time that they
Okay.
want.
Yeah.
They want uninterrupted mom time, and they want me to be engaged in said thing.
Now,
And I can't be multitasking. Like when it comes to my kids, I can't be multitasking in 6 different things in that moment. They want 100%.
okay. So
that's something that I've been working on so they get that quality time.
how much time do you? Oh God!
I mean, it's not
All right, I'm
isolated
not the
to a
right person
specific.
to ask these questions.
It's not
I just
specifically
realized
like to an
This
isolated
is
time.
Self-improvement. I just had a self-improvement epiphany on my own.
Like for
right
example,
here.
like now that it's Halloween season,
Mhm.
Gavin and I always watch Halloween Wars. So we'll
Mhm.
watch the 6
Mhm.
weeks of that show
Mhm.
and we watch it.
Mhm.
If I pick up my phone
Mhm.
during the show,
Mhm.
he will get up and leave and not finish
Mm.
watching the show with me.
Mm.
Oh wow!
Like, so it's like a thing. Like I cannot be on
So
my
he's
phone. So I'll
developed-
go put my phone somewhere else because I'm not
Okay.
spending the quality time with him and engaging in the show the way that I should be.
So my question would be self-improvement. Understanding the human you're with and how to interact with them better.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Because to your point, or what you're saying is, hey, I have this human here, Gavin. No offense, but that says I'd like you to be unequivocally paying attention
Mhm.
to this show,
Right.
right? And
Mhm.
then something bloop, and you pull it up and you do this, and he goes, "Fuck you, I'm out."
Yeah.
Right? So to me,
So I know that it really bothers him and stuff. It's just like,
so that to
so
me
it's
is
something that
like,
I'm working on to improve to better not do
God,
that.
that is,
Well, and as you know, humans are social creatures. As social creatures, part of self-improvement is weighing the opinions of others.
Right. I mean, like I have a small group of people that could say that to me where it would invoke like an actual corrective action.
go fuck yourself and pay attention to Gavin.
But you know what I mean? I'm just saying like that's
Am I one of
something.
them?
I'm just saying that that was something that was brought to my attention that, you know, I needed to work on as an individual. So like that was like an outsider self-improvement, like, hey, which is like what you're talking about with managing 6 or less people. Like as somebody in my circle brought that to my attention and now I'm working on it. But I still need to be proactive as an individual and still be hungry to better myself individually in other aspects that don't involve me being away from my electronics for 45 minutes.
So if some call comes up,
What? My friend Amy's in Florida that just called. She is she just survived the hurricane and
Amy,
she's
I'm so happy for you.
inventorying her house right now. So she was
do
one
you
of
need
the,
help with inventory?
she was
I'd be happy
like
to
one of the major impacted cities
Um,
by the hurricane.
help. Amy, we're happy you're alive.
But her house survived.
So if you were to have somebody call
Hmm.
and you're with your kid, what are you going to do?
It depends on what we're doing.
If I called,
If you called,
yeah, and you're sitting with Gavin,
if we're watching the show, I'll probably call you back after the show. If you call me
what if I called
and
you twice?
in a row,
Yeah.
oh, if somebody calls me more than once back to back, like there better be like a thing. If there's not a thing, then you'll be off the list of me answering the phone like that.
Yo,
If you just call me to
Yo.
tell me something stupid, then like no.
Steph, this is hilarious. Bitch, you better laugh at this.
But so like
You
no.
wouldn't. No,
I mean, like there's
I'm pretty sure I've done that to you.
if I'm doing something specific, like if I'm at a soccer game, if I'm at Eli's soccer game, I don't answer my phone. I might respond to a text message during that hour, but I will not answer my phone. I will not answer my phone during the soccer game because I need to be watching the soccer
Okay.
game.
Let's get back on self-improvement.
I'm just saying, like, that's something that I had to improve upon and work at because the people around me, it's a work in progress. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
I was gonna say,
I mean, we just had like a major event happen, and so I've been out of sorts the last like week.
right.
So so things are just a little bit off track right now. But
So
but yeah.
my question to you would be, if somebody calls you like myself during a soccer game,
Mm-hmm.
And you pick up and I give you some bullshit and you're like, dude, don't effing.
Well, it's not like you're going to know him at the soccer game. So it's not like I could be mad at you
that's-
for calling me during a soccer game.
Oh, fair point.
You don't know my schedule.
So let's get back on.
So,
All right.
But if I was like, hey,
Fair
Joe, I'm about to walk into this funeral. Don't call me back. And then you call me back 4 minutes later. And then I'm like, what? And you're like, oh, I just realized
I
I'm like,
wait for this new show topic.
like that would be a different thing. But no.
So jump back onto self-improvement. If we talk about that, you're picking up. This is one of the things that I feel I'm pretty good on is not picking up to people that call me and I'm in one of those situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some people I call and they're like, to your point, they're like, hey, yo, what's going on? I'm in a funeral right now. And I go, dude, why'd you pick up? Right? Do you not pick up because you're self-improved?
I don't
Or
pick up
do
the
you
phone
pick
because
up
I'm
because
working
you-
on not upsetting my kids for being on my electronics during
That's
their
what I'm looking
time.
for. That's what I'm
So
looking
like
for. Yes.
it's their time, and I need to respect that it's their time. Just
Kids,
like if they
kids,
have to
parents,
respect,
the dead,
right.
whoever.
But I'm just saying, if they have to respect when I'm on my
extend it to
computer,
everybody.
right. But if they have to respect when I'm on the computer, then I need to respect when I'm on their time then too.
So my past life before restoration was insurance, right? And one of the things that I would never do is I would never stop talking to people. Go figure. And so I would always keep talking to people. But then I realized that I would never be able to absorb who was talking in front of me or at me or responding to emails or a text or whatever it was. I was literally ping, ping, pong, ping, 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 pong, right? So what I come to figure out was if I was able to, and this is probably what I do now to a default, is if somebody is in front of me, and I think you know this, if somebody's in front of me, I talk to them and them only. I don't answer my phone. I don't pull my phone out. I might go, oh, I'm sorry, and pull my phone out of my pocket to take a quick look. But like, I really don't answer my phone. And that was one of the biggest self-improvement things because I want to be 100% devoted to the person that is right in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to devote or shuck my time away from somebody that is straight in front of me.
So what was the biggest, or not the biggest, the most challenging self-improvement item that you've had to do in your whatever, I don't know, however many years? What's something that you
40.
what's something that you found was just the most challenging thing to do that now that you're on the other end of it, you're like, that was totally worth it?
Really like that. Okay. It would probably be understanding outside of my skin, my comfort zone, meaning like I have to go into the city and live in the city.
Mm.
Right? So like I'm not one that wants to be in an urban area. I want to be in the sticks. And moving from Michigan to Chicago was like into the city. We went straight into we were in Logan Square, and this was before Logan Square was cool. That was probably one of the hardest things I had to get used to was like.
So you had to just get used to getting uncomfortable.
Being.
Well, and also being somewhere you didn't know anybody, because I feel like in your area where you grew up, you guys knew a lot of people.
That actually is a fallacy. I did not know anybody anywhere I grew up. I grew up in my wife and I just realized the house we live in now, we've lived in for 9 years. I've lived in that house longer than any house in my life. I have moved my entire life. So to jump into the city, I was very rural all my life. And so to go into the city.
Not have ATVs. It was a challenge.
It was a big difference, right? And so I get the idea of like trying to learn something new. I don't know.
So I guess to take the question one level deeper, do you feel like the most challenging self-improvement items come from you within, or does it come from your sounding board?
I think the most self-improvement items come from external challenges that are forced upon you based on circumstance or whatever it may be. I don't care what it is, but I was forced into urban Chicago, and I learned, adapted, and very much grew a lot from my rural Michigan upbringing, right? I changed a lot. And that to me would be probably where I would say is like being forced into something new. Now, that was a choice force.
Right.
Right? Carrie and I decided and elected to go to Chicago, come to Chicago and live from Michigan. So it wasn't like we were going, nope, have no choice.
Right.
Fuck.
So Steve,
Right?
what about you? What do you think your most challenging self-improvement item was, or do you think it came from you within, or do you think it came from your sounding board?
Journal. I love that. That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a mix. You know, you can't really improve without some sort of feedback. But for me, yeah, I mean, I'm still working on a lot of things, still trying to improve. You talked about it earlier, reactive versus active. Had a lot of life happening to me recently, but yeah, I do lean on. I have got a great partner that I'm married to. She's fantastic, so I lean on her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
As far as self-improvement, like there's nothing I can identify that like I particularly go out of my way for.
I feel like the more challenging things come from your sounding board, because I feel like when you're proactive and you think of the idea and you do it yourself, I feel like you have a different motivation because it's your idea.
How much has Rich pushed you
to do what? To change?
To not to change, but to challenge what you say I can't, or whatever. Like your sounding board is Rich, first and foremost, right? Just like me, it's Carrie.
Yeah, I mean, well, like Rich and I approach situations from very different angles.
That's so what I'm asking you.
He could say, that's it. So that's like Rich has said to me before that I need to sometimes like have I don't know, like a different, like Rich and I have both said to each other, because we're both very direct people, where you need to have like a different choice of wording when we're having said conversation. Like you need to think before you speak. And it's something that we've both worked on to then be able to have a productive ending conversation or meeting about whatever we're talking about.
Okay.
Or a debate or whatever.
Okay.
So we've both had to work on equally, because we're very similar in the way we talk to people. We've both had to work on the whole choice of wording.
I can so see this conversation.
I mean, like, because like, so it's just like we talk the same language. So it's hard, when somebody is that. So like a thing that like I've given Rich to work on as a self-improvement is that sometimes I need him to just let me vent and I don't need a solution.
Oh my God. Do you know what Carrie and I say?
Right. Yeah. I preface the conversation now before we get into the conversation.
Same thing that I told you?
Well, it's something that we've been doing like for a while, but I guess like you guys do it too. But like it just, if I come.
Do you need a hug?
Right.
Or do you need a solution?
Right. So like when I come to him, I need you to
or a solution.
There's like a preface to the conversation now.
No, I need a solution. I need a hug.
Right. Yeah, so there's like prefaces to those things to do that. So, but it just,
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
I love that.
So, I mean, I feel like as for self-improvement, yeah, but I feel like, I don't know if it's necessarily self-improvement. I feel like it's just common courtesy and learning to adapt with the person that you're living with. Like, I don't know if I'm necessarily improving as an individual.
No.
I feel like I'm just adapting to not be an asshole to that person that I'm choosing to live with.
But that's also self-improvement.
But what did I improve?
You improve
Just because I treat him like...
Your responsiveness as a partner.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I wouldn't do the same courtesy to anybody else, though, out there.
It doesn't matter. One specific little point is
if you were to move on to another relationship, for any reason, you would take the skills that you've learned and how you handled any situation that you were in, and you'll be able to take that and move forward and apply that.
Rich, don't think that's going to happen. Steve, shut the fuck up.
I said Listen. If it was a hypothetical.
No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. 16 years later, he can't tell the truth about a steak. I'm just saying.
I want you to cut that clip just for no. Here's the deal. If any of that were to happen, sure. But to be honest, your self-improvement is right there. You're literally going to Rich and going, hey, I understand and I see the difference. So therefore, I'm going to change what I'm doing and pay attention a little more.
Well, I mean, okay, so then Steve, I have a question then to what you said.
Yeah.
What happens then if you took said experience from your relationship into the next relationship and that was completely the wrong reaction for the next person?
Yeah, that's called baggage. We all deal with that. Thank you
from the deep voice behind the curtain.
But like, I feel like it's like weird when you have individual relationships with people. I feel like that's more just adaptability to like fit them as your partner. I don't know if you necessarily change as an individual. Like,
but you do.
The way
if you can't, then you're not going to stay friends or a partner for very long. Relationships that last long are built off of two people that are willing to grow and change and learn how to work together. And that's a marriage, that's business partnership, that's coworkers.
Steve. Dr. Steve. I mean, Steve.
Tip my hat to you. You can't see that on
producer
off
Steve.
camera there.
All right. No, I agree. I mean, both parties have to be consensual.
Have you? We almost lost Steve. Have you ever been? Have you ever been?
The other one.
Have you ever been?
And just smoked out of his eyes.
Have you ever been on a self-improvement journey and you discovered halfway through it and you were way off base? Like that everybody like if you think that
what do you mean by discover?
Josh liked that one too.
Yeah. Congrats on the new baby, Josh.
Oh yeah.
But have you ever been like, if you're like, okay, if you felt like you needed to improve and change said component about you or about the way you do things or about the way you talk to people, and then you found out like halfway through that it was getting a very bad reaction from the audience.
There's a lot of times.
You know, so then how do you take that? If you came up with the idea and you're like, I need to do this better, but everybody around you was like, no, that is a horrible decision and you should have just left that.
I would.
But you internally feel like you're not doing good in that.
Say, are those your feet?
Yeah, we were both stretching at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I would say, there's a lot of silence going on, and I would say, man, what did you learn today?
I would
What
say
did you learn today?
that I don't know. I guess I learned that I was right. That halfway through the show, even though I peed before the show, that this would make me have to pee.
Fuck you think you were talking about? I told you it was gonna happen.
It's a huge can.
That's what she said.
She
I
has a
learned-
weird way of phrasing things.
I learned that when I make a really good comment, we could lose our producer, producer Steve.
And I learned that both parties have to be consenting.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair. You didn't know that before? We need to talk to the opposite parties of you, Steve.
You really drove the point home for me.
All right, fair. Don't listen to the man behind the curtain. Thank you, Josh. We appreciate you. Y'all have a good night. Be safe. Be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
What do we have next week? I'm trying to see what we have
Oh.
next week. Next week we have, what values do you put on salary offers? So do you go with the going rate for that particular job role? Or is it going to take so much off your plate that you put a different value on it as an owner when you're in the trenches and you just need a person? So are you willing to pay more when you're drowning versus when you are not?
I want
That's
everybody
a line graph of desperation right there.
Right.
That's like the you ever see the How I Met Your Mother, the
hot to crazy ratio.
hotness versus
Yes.
craziness?
That's
Yeah,
the exact same
yeah.
chart. You're just
Same
change
chart,
the metrics.
Same chart. All right, we're gonna revisit that chart. See y'all next week.
Thanks.
Bye.